These edible candles are so good. They're like a magical version of a Rice Krispie treat. When I was developing this recipe for my cookbook, I wanted to make sure that I could actually light it. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to make magic with a few simple ingredients. I'm Nick, and welcome to Practical Peculiarities. First, measure and gather all your ingredients. If you have the book, feel free to follow along. Otherwise, the recipe will be in the description below. We're going to start by making the modeling chocolate. So empty a bag of candy melts into a bowl and melt it down. Next, add the corn syrup. I microwaved it for 5 seconds just so I could thin it out a little bit. With a rubber spatula, give it a few turns until a dough just begins to form. You don't want to overmix it here because the grease in the chocolate will leach out. Just a few turns will do. Turn it over into a plastic wrap-lined plate. Cover it and let it sit for 45 minutes to 1 hour. This will give it time to firm up. It's not going to look like much of a dough now, but once it dries, it will turn into one. Meanwhile, add the butter to a saucepan along with the marshmallows on medium heat. Once the marshmallows are melted, mix it into the rice cereal. It smells so good. Dump it out on a parchment-lined baking sheet and spread it out. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be making shapes with it anyway. Let it set for 20 to 30 minutes to firm up. When I was writing this book, I took inspiration from so many things around me, like nature, the sky, death, insects, and so many more things. Like anything that had a tinge of peculiarity, I was inspired by it. Now I know some of you may think that it's a little weird that I chose candles as one of these recipes because they're just normal. Like candles are just normal. But I find them to be fascinating tools in spirituality, in decoration, in ambiance, and they're just used for so many things. Candles have been used since ancient times, and they were usually made out of tallow or beeswax, and they were products mainly for the wealthy. It wasn't until the 1850s that they discovered that they could mass produce candles by using paraffin wax, which made it possible for everybody to get their grubby little fingers on some candles. Nowadays, we use candles for so many things, but the side of candles that inspired me the most was their use in magic. I think it's so beautiful how a little flame could represent the dear departed. In fact, every time I make this recipe in my book called Bizcochitos, I light a little candle to represent my grandmother who taught me how to make them. Another fascinating use of candles is when people are called to gather on the day of somebody's birth. They then stick candles in a cake. Everybody chants in unison. The birthday person closes their eyes and makes a wish, blows the candles out and sends it into the universe. But that's not witchcraft, right? Once it's firm, grab a handful and start forming it into a candle shape. I like to use gloves for this because it gets sticky. Roll it into a log. Cut the top off at a slant and impale it with a skewer, like a corn dog. Spread on a thin layer of creamy peanut butter. Place them on a parchment-lined baking sheet and freeze them for 5 to 10 minutes to firm up. Meanwhile, knead the modeling chocolate. It's going to be a little hard, and its hardness depends on the temperature of your kitchen, but the heat of my hands is going to make it into a pliable dough. I like to work on parchment paper so it doesn't stick. Once it's soft enough to roll out, Roll it in between 2 pieces of parchment paper. You want to make sure that it's quite thin because you don't want to bite into a huge chunk of this. Place the candle on the modeling chocolate, cut out a little piece, and wrap it. Pinch the seams together as best as you can, and remove the stick. I like to use scissors to chop off the excess. Fold in the top and the bottom, and smooth it out. At the top, I want to mold a little well to look as though it's been melted. I like to place them on brass candle holders because this enhances the illusion. From there, I melt a small amount of candy melts and add a little bit of vegetable oil to thin it out. I then use it to pipe drips on the top of the candle. I don't go to therapy, but this is therapeutic. So after much trial and error, I discovered that a walnut is able to be lit for a small amount of time, just long enough to make a wish. And bam! Perfect edible wishing candles. Alright, well, there's a wishing spell that you have to say with these. By flame and by fire, grant my desire. A sweet little wish is what I require. I hope I get that wish. You want to take off the top because it's a little charred, but here we go. So good. These are fun for all occasions, and they're great conversation starters. If you enjoyed this recipe and want to see more, please check out my cookbook, Peculiar Baking, a practical guide to strange confections. I really put my soul into this cookbook, and I feel like a part of me is in every copy. They're like my personal Horcrux or something like that. It's a really beautiful book. It has like a gold gilding, has a leatherette cover, and gold pages, and so many recipes that you could use all year. A misconception is that this book is only for Halloween, but that is far from the truth. It's peculiarities for forever. So yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my Christmas video where I use these to make a dark and moody Christmas tablescape. Have a happy holiday.